You can learn from anybody, man. Like, I need y'all to understand that you can learn from anybody. I know sometimes, right, and I have a problem with this, right? I'm one of these people. I'm one of the type of people that think like I have all the answers sometimes, right? I'm the type of person that a lot of times when I'm having conversations, I always think that I'm correct. I always think that I'm right. And while that may or may not be true, if you're that type of person as well, comment down below. While that may or may not be true, one thing I had to stop and realize is everyone has different life experiences, right? You can learn from anybody. And I had this realization, right, a few years ago. Let me tell y'all a little something about myself, man. I'm the type of person, I like to sit and listen to podcasts, right? Like when I'm driving and shit. Hold on. I like to sit and listen to podcasts, right? Because when you listen to long form podcasts, you get a real deep dive into a lot of people's lives, right? You get a real deep dive into their perspective, and it's like a snapshot into, people's mentalities and how they really, really think. Same thing with reading, right? I love books, I love podcasts because you really get a real deal snapshot of people's lives, right? And their perceptions of the world, how they look at the world. So I used to watch this podcast, right? Called Diary of a CEO. Sorry, y'all. Somebody was calling me, man. I used to watch this podcast, right? It was called Diary of a CEO. And he basically has a lot of people come on. They're like success stories. They're like experts in different fields, right? Scientists, neurologists, business people, athletes, all these type of people from different walks of life, right? And sometimes I would see a title, right? Like he'll have people like love doctors and shit like that. And sometimes I would see a title that he would post and it would just make me think like, man, like there's really nothing I can learn from this person. And then I'll click the podcast and I'll end up learning a fuck ton of new information that I didn't know, right? And I say that to say, man, like you literally can learn from anybody. That cousin that you think is always talking but don't really know nothing, bro, you can learn from him, bro. Just sit back and listen. Close your lips, open your ears, and really, really sit back and listen to what they're saying. Bro, them crackheads on the side of the street, bro, they lived a lot of life, bro. Have y'all ever, bro, like no funny shit, because I know a lot of y'all gonna take this as something funny. Have y'all ever just sat down, like, and really talked to a homeless person? Or like on YouTube, there's a lot of YouTube videos, right, where YouTubers, they'll change a homeless person's life, right? So even if you feel uncomfortable with, rolling down the window, having a little quick conversation with somebody that's not in the best of position, right? On YouTube, YouTubers do it all the time. They turn their lives around. Have y'all ever watched one of those videos and just really sat and listened to their life experience and how they got to where they got? Like, y'all need to understand, like, these people have lived a lot of lives. They've seen a lot of different things. If you were a drug addict, you know how many different circumstances probably had to come together for you to go from that innocent kid, you know what I'm saying? Because we all were an innocent kid at a point in time. We all were that child at some point, right? Hold on, y'all. Look a little dark. I'm trying to adjust the brightness. I hope that's better. But yeah, we all were that innocent kid at one point in time. We all were 5, 6, 7 years old, right? 8 years old, 10, 11 years old, right? Our parents cared about us. They had dreams. Now it's getting too bright. We had dreams. We had aspirations, right? So how does it get from that point where you're a child, you have all these grand dreams, you have these big plans, right? You have these aspirations. How does it get from that point? You're in elementary school, middle school, high school, to you being 25, 30 plus years old, you 40 plus years old, you're on the side of the road, you're strung out on drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does it get to that point? And if you really sit and you think, or if you listen to these people, or if you watch these type of videos, right, then you'll understand everybody has a story, right? And that's not to say like everyone is going to give you the best advice. You shouldn't just take advice from anyone. Like, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't take advice from everybody, obviously. But you can really sit and internalize every single person's story, their perspective on life, their perspective on the world, and you could take bits and pieces. You could say, okay, I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna use that. You could take bits and pieces and say, okay, yeah, that's not valuable, I'm gonna throw that out. It's a glass half full, glass half empty type of thing. Everything is about perspective. Everything is about the way you look at it, right? You can hear a drug addict's story on YouTube, online, and you can be like, okay, these are the bad decisions that led to them being in the position that they're in. These are the wrong turns. These are the wrong decisions, wrong choices that they made that landed them where they're at right now. Like, have y'all ever had somebody get locked up? You feel me? I know a lot of my people, my black people, we got one or two, couple people maybe, that may have been locked up or are still currently locked up, right? And they may or may not call you from jail, right? And you just sit and talk to them, and you could get so much perspective on their choices, right? The decisions they made that landed them in the position that they landed in, right? Like, I think y'all need to understand that you can literally learn something from everybody. Whether that's for the good, whether that's for the bad, you can learn something from every single person that you communicate with. You could speak with Elon Musk, and you can obviously, you know what I'm saying, have a conversation with him, and you'll walk away with so much insight about what I can do, so much motivation. Hey, what can I do? You could talk with Jay-Z, another billionaire mogul, whatever. What can I do to get to the position that they got to? What were they doing at a young age? What kind of mindset did they have, right? And on the complete other side of the extreme, right? Because these are two extremes, you know what I'm saying? Billionaires, millionaires, multi-millionaires, people with all the money. You could listen to their stories, model the things that they've done to get to where they got. That's learning. And then on the far, far other extreme, I'm sorry, y'all, my phone keep going off. Trying to ignore that. But on the far, far other extreme, right, there's the people in jail, right? There's the drug addicts. There's the people that are homeless, right? What decisions did they make to land them in that position, right? And at that point, where are you? You're probably somewhere in the middle, right? One wrong decision, your life could go the negative way. One right decision, your life could go completely in the other direction, go right. So I feel like, I don't know, you guys, there's value to be had with having conversations with multiple types of people. There's value to be had with having conversation with a wide array and range of people. Your grandmother, your drunk uncle, right? Who you feel like, okay, he don't know nothing, he just be talking. Have you ever sat down and actually just tried to really listen to the things that they're saying? Right? A lot of our grandparents, right? I know my generation, like a lot of our grandparents, they love to talk, right? They love to talk. And we love them to death, but they will talk your head off if you let them. And I've seen so many of my homies, so many of, you know what I'm saying, the people close to me, like their grandma or something will call, or we'll go and we'll visit their grandmother or their grandfather. First of all, it's a blessing to still have them in your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed to still have all four of my grandparents. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all appreciate your grandparents if they're still in your life and alive and healthy, first and foremost. But I've seen so many of my family, friends, people around me, like they'll be talking to their grandparents and they'll just sit there and let them talk, and I'll just hear them talking in the background, and they're not even paying attention. Like they could be having a whole other conversation, right? Put the phone on mute. They having a whole different conversation, right? Not even listening. And then their grandma and grandpa say, hello, you still listening, baby? They'll unmute. Yeah, grandma, I'm still here. But like, I feel like that's so messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, have y'all ever just tried to just sit and really interact with, you know what I'm saying, these older people? You can learn a lot from them, you guys. These people have wisdom. They have a lot of life that they lived. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I really wanted to get on here and say, you guys. Like, at the end of the day, man, you shouldn't take advice from every single person, but just know in the back of your head, like, everyone has a story. Everyone has lived their life the way that they lived their life. Everyone has a perspective on life or experiences that they've went through, right? You can learn from absolutely anybody, whether that's from the homeless person on the road, how they got there, the drug addict, how they got there, the person locked up in jail doing 20 years for a 1-minute bad decision that they made. You can learn from them. Whether that's these millionaires, these multimillionaires, you know what I'm saying? You can learn from them. Whether that's the girl in the club who's just stripping to make her rent, the girl in the club who is taking care of two newborns, 2 babies, right? But she has to make it to the club every single night to make sure that she's handling her priorities, her bills, her rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so many different types of people walking this earth. And once you guys stop and you realize, like, hey, they made these choices, I don't want to make those choices, you learn something. Hey, this billionaire, this millionaire, this person with all this money, they made all these choices, this is how they look at life, I'm gonna do that too. You learn something, you guys. Like, I need y'all to know every single person has a story, and you can absolutely learn something from anybody. That's all I wanted to come on here and say. Hope y'all enjoyed tonight's video, man. I'm see y'all tomorrow.